Gossip Coffee Shop is a local coffee shop located in Astoria, Queens. I frequent this coffee shop quite often, spending hours there studying and doing homework. It always occurred to me that the coffee shop is beautiful, well kept, and well staffed, and always has amazing food and coffee. I wondered how well they were doing financially and asked the manager if she would speak with me. The manager of the coffee shop agreed, however, she would not give me figures, only to say approximately how much they sell of coffee and pastries. The quantities within the sheet is according to the manager's numbers. However, the financials are estimations. The coffee units, tea units, and rice pudding units were given to me by the manager. The prices I was able to retrieve from the website. My goal in developing this income statement was to see if Gossip Coffee could reduce their expenses and make greater profits by choosing different suppliers. Within the income statement tab, I also did a projected linear growth and projected growth trend to see where the company would be in the next 5 years. I did this by using the interpolated series, using the series tab in the edit column. So I was able to go here, and then for the linear growth, I was able to use linear growth, and this gives me growth by constant numbers. And then for the projected growth trend, I was able to use fill, series, and then use growth. And that gives me by percentage increase. I believe that the growth trend is more accurate because it is based on percentage change versus linear growth, which is based on just constant amounts. For this income statement, it was developed fully by me. I used estimations when I spoke to the manager, as well as using information from the website to develop this income statement in its entirety. So my goal really was to pick 2 different stores that would supply Gossip Coffee and see if one would be cheaper than the other for Gossip Coffee to make a larger revenue. So Web Restaurant Store is a company that is used by businesses to purchase products in bulk. I used their website to get data on how much it would cost Gossip Coffee to use this supplier versus what they currently use. My constraints in the solver problem was my budget, which was $30,000, and my required product amount, which was 75,000 units. There are many different types of products used at the shop. Therefore, different product amounts are needed in column I. I calculated the percentage of each product needed based on customer demands and what units we needed to fill. So for instance, we can see that for I4, that is referring to Guatemalan whole bean dark coffee. So 10% of the required products needed is going to be Guatemalan whole coffee. And that's how we were able to come up with the required product amount and make sure that that number does not go over the 75,000 required products. Using Solver, my objective was to spend below my budget, but fill all the units that I needed. I achieved this by changing my optimal purchase amount, which is this number here, because you cannot purchase a portion of a product. This number has to be an integer. In addition, my amount spent, F14, has to be less than or equal to my budget, B16. In order to effectively run the coffee shop, you have to have the required amount of product needed to sell. Therefore, column G has to be greater than column I. Solver did find an optimal solution, and this optimal solution was below our budget, and we were able to stock the amount of products needed. Costco wholesale stores are known for selling bulk products at reduced prices. I used the Costco website to get my data to analyze if Costco would be a cheaper option for Gossip Coffee. As previously stated, my constraints in the solver problem was my budget, which was $30,000, and my required product amount, which was 75,000 units. My objective with Solver was the same as for Web Restaurant. I needed to set my objective as my total amount spent. My changing variables are the same. I was concerned about my budget and my required product. We see that Solver has found an optimal solution. Therefore, a decision to go with a particular store would not be based on supplies, but rather on customer preference. This was actually quite surprising for me because I just assumed that Costco, given the prices, was going to be cheaper, and actually Solver proved me wrong because both Web Restaurant Store and Costco give us optimal solutions. Therefore, a decision to go with a particular store is based on customer preference. While speaking to the manager, she mentioned that customers prefer exotic types of beans such as Guatemala and Honduras. If I were the owner of Gossip Coffee Shop, I would go with the Web Restaurant Store. Solver did help us make an informed decision. I was also curious about staffing. Gossip Coffee currently has 10 employees, 5 part-time and 5 full-time. The full-time staff gets paid $15 an hour, and the part-time staff gets paid $13 an hour. The weekly budget I got from the income statement, it's $150,000 a year, and that means our weekly budget for staffing is $2,884. There are 2 shifts that need to be covered that are each 8 hours long. Solver was used to find an optimal staffing per day while keeping within the budget. Our objective is R19 total spent, and I wanted to minimize this value. Barista's schedule had to be greater than baristas needed. Part-time workers have to work less than or equal to 16 hours, while full-time workers had to work less than or equal to 40 hours. My last constraint is the total amount paid has to be less than or equal to my budget. Solver did find an optimal solution. However, we see that we hired too many people because we can see that 2 individuals are actually not getting any shifts. So even though Solver did find an optimal solution, there are individuals that are not working. So that is not really the definition of optimal. This is the completion of my Solver project. It was actually a very good project for me to do because it helped me see that I can use this type of programming to really figure out how to staff and run a business. Thank you.